luxury. Crystal chandeliers lit up the grand ballroom, and hundreds of powerful guests waited quietly for the wedding to begin. At the altar stood Suspense, one of the richest and most feared men in the country. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't excited. He stood there like a man waiting to claim another prize, not the woman he loved. The huge wooden doors slowly opened. Everyone turned to see the bride, but no one walked in. Instead, an old leather suitcase slowly slid across the shiny marble floor until it stopped right in front of Suspense. The room fell completely silent. Suspense frowned. With one hard kick, he forced the suitcase open. The guests gasped. Inside was a torn wedding veil covered in dust. Beneath it was a thick envelope sealed with red wax. Only 3 words were written on it: for HIM. Suspense quickly broke the seal and began reading. Within seconds, the color disappeared from his face. His hands started shaking. The powerful man who never feared anyone suddenly looked terrified. Without saying another word, he turned to his head of security. "Seal the estate. Nobody leaves." The giant iron gates slammed shut. Every exit was locked. Panic spread through the crowd. Nearby, a young maid named Elara was quietly cleaning a spilled drink. As everyone rushed toward the doors, she noticed a folded piece of paper slip out of the open suitcase. She picked it up before anyone else saw it. Her heart nearly stopped. The paper listed secret offshore bank accounts, illegal business deals, and the names of several people who had disappeared over the years. This wasn't just a wedding. It was the beginning of the end for the Thorne Empire. Realizing how dangerous the document was, Elara quietly hid it inside her apron. At that exact moment, the lights flickered. The entire mansion went dark for a second. Then, boom, the heavy iron doors locked with a thunderous sound that echoed through every hallway. No one was leaving. As the lights came back on, Suspense's cold eyes swept across the room. For one brief second, he looked directly at Elara. She froze. In that moment, she knew one thing. If Suspense discovered what she was hiding, she wouldn't make it out of the mansion alive. Its entire mansion was in chaos. Suspense's men searched every room, every hallway, and every corner of the estate. They questioned the guests and locked every exit, but they were searching for the wrong thing. Elara quietly slipped away to the bride's bedroom. Her hands were shaking as she remembered something strange. Just before disappearing, the bride had placed her hand on the large mirror above the dressing table. At the time, it didn't seem important. Now, Elara wondered if it had been a clue. She carefully touched the edge of the mirror. Click! A hidden compartment opened behind it. Inside, she found a small flash drive and a hand-drawn map of the mansion. One place on the map was circled in red: the basement. Every servant knew one rule: never go into the basement. Ignoring her fear, Elara followed the narrow stone staircase deep beneath the mansion. She expected to find an old storage room. Instead, she discovered something far more terrifying. The room was filled with personal belongings: a necklace, a silk glove, a gold locket, a dried rose. Every item had a woman's name and a date attached to it. Elara slowly realized the truth. These women hadn't simply disappeared. Something terrible had happened to them inside the Thorne Estate. The flash drive was the key to exposing everything. Just as she reached for it, she heard footsteps. Someone was coming. Suspense, Suspense's most feared bodyguard. His shadow stretched across the cold stone floor as he walked toward her. Elara held her breath. She was sure this was the end. But instead of pulling out his weapon, Suspense stared at the flash drive. His expression changed. For the first time, he looked relieved. He spoke in a quiet voice. "She finally did it." Elara frowned. "What do you mean?" Suspense looked at her. "The bride knew no one would suspect a maid. She left the evidence for you." Before Elara could ask another question, bang, the heavy iron door above them slammed shut. The basement began to shake. A deep humming sound echoed through the walls. Dust fell from the ceiling. It felt as if the mansion itself had come alive. Suspense looked up with fear in his eyes. "The house knows we're down here." Elara tightened her grip on the flash drive. Now she understood. She wasn't trapped in an ordinary mansion. She was trapped inside a place built to protect deadly secrets, and it wasn't going to let them leave alive. This basement door refused to open. Elara and Suspense pushed with all their strength, but it wouldn't move. They were trapped. Elara looked down at the flash drive in her hand. It had to contain the truth the bride had risked her life to protect. Suspense noticed what she was thinking. "Don't plug it into any computer here," he warned. "This mansion watches everything. Every room has hidden cameras and microphones. The moment you use that drive, they'll know exactly where you are." Before Elara could answer, they heard footsteps above them. Someone was walking through the kitchen. Then a calm voice echoed through the halls. "Elara." It was Sarafana Vane. Her voice sounded sweet, but something about it sent chills down Alara's spine. She wasn't calling to help, she was hunting. "Come out," Sarafana said softly. "I know you're hiding something." Elara stayed silent. She knew one mistake could get her killed. Sullahs quickly pointed toward a small opening behind an old shelf. "A maintenance tunnel," he whispered. "It leads to the library." They squeezed through the narrow passage and slowly crawled forward. After several minutes, they reached a hidden panel behind one of the library walls. Through a small crack, Elara could see Cuspoin and Sarafana standing inside. Both looked furious. "We're running out of time," Sarafana said. "If that evidence gets out, everything is over." Cuspoin slammed his fist onto the table. "What do you want me to do?" Sarafana stepped closer. "Burn the mansion." Cuspoin looked at her in shock. "Destroy everything before the police find it. No evidence, no witnesses." For a long moment, the room was silent. Then, Cuspoin nodded. "Do it." Elara felt her heart sink. He was willing to destroy his own home just to protect his secrets. She looked at the flash drive. Now she understood why the bride had left it behind. This tiny device could expose every crime hidden inside the Thorne Estate. But there was only one place where it could be used: the mansion's main security terminal. If she reached it first, the truth would finally be revealed. If Cuspoin reached it first, everything would disappear forever. Elara took a deep breath. "This ends tonight," she whispered. As Cuspoin and Sarafana left the library, Elara quietly stepped out from the hidden passage. Held the flash drive tightly. The race had begun. Whoever reached the security terminal first would decide the fate of the entire Thorne Empire. Elara quietly entered the library. The room was dark and completely silent. She looked around carefully, hoping no one had seen her. Then she froze. Cuspoin was already there. He stood in front of an old projector screen, staring at a video. Elara quickly hid behind a bookshelf and watched without making a sound. The video showed the missing bride. But she wasn't wearing a wedding dress. She was holding a small hidden camera. Elara listened as the bride spoke. "My name is Umala," she said. "I never came here to get married. I came here to expose Cuspoin Thorne." Elara's eyes widened. The bride wasn't a runaway. She was an investigative journalist. For months, she had secretly collected evidence against the Thorne family. The video showed hidden tunnels beneath the mansion. It revealed secret rooms. Then it showed something even worse. Several places beneath the house had been marked with red circles. Bodies were buried there. Elara covered her mouth in shock. Everything the bride had discovered was true. Cuspoin stared at the screen with pure anger. His entire world was falling apart. The woman he planned to marry had been secretly destroying him from the very beginning. Then the bride looked directly into the camera. It felt as though she was speaking to Elara. "If you're watching this, it means the maid found the flash drive." Elara's heart skipped a beat. "The future of this case is now in your hands. Don't let them stop you." The video suddenly ended. The room became silent again. Cuspoin slowly turned around. He looked nervous. He felt that someone else was in the room. He began searching everywhere. He threw books off the shelves. He smashed furniture. He ripped paintings from the walls. "Where are you?" he shouted. Elara held her breath. Cuspoin walked closer and closer to her hiding place. Just as his hand reached the bookshelf, a loud alarm echoed through the mansion. "Warning. Security lockdown ACTIVATD." Metal doors crashed shut throughout the estate. Windows sealed themselves with heavy steel shutters. The floor shook beneath their feet. The mansion had gone into full lockdown. Cuspoin cursed in anger and ran out of the library. Elara finally stepped out from her hiding place. She knew exactly what she had to do. The bride had trusted her for one reason. No one would ever suspect an ordinary maid. Now, she was the only person left who could expose the truth. Holding the flash drive tightly, Elara ran toward the mansion's security control room. Before Cuspoin reached it first, its mansion was no longer the beautiful place it once was. Majansa alarms echoed through every hallway. Heavy steel doors opened and closed on their own. LUTs flashed red across the walls. It felt as if the entire house was fighting back. Elara ran as fast as she could, holding the flash drive tightly. She followed the map until she reached a hidden metal door at the end of a narrow hallway. Tucking a deep breath, she pushed it open. Inside was the mansion's secret security control room. Huge screens covered the walls. Over hallway, over bedroom. Every hidden tunnel, overthung inside the Thorne Estate was being watched. Elara quickly searched for the main computer. "This must be it," she whispered. She inserted the flash drive. For a second, nothing happened. Then every screen suddenly came to life. The bride's files began opening one after another. Hidden bank accounts, secret business records, VUDPAs of illegal meetings, photos of missing women. Everything was there. Elara couldn't believe how much evidence had been hidden inside the mansion. A message appeared on the screen. "Upload evidence to secure server." She didn't hesitate. She pressed yes. This upload began. Ton pay sunt. At the same moment, another screen showed Suspense, who had seen the system come online. He knew exactly where Elara was. His face twisted with rage. He grabbed his gun and sprinted toward the control room. Meanwhile, Sarafana was watching from another hallway. She smiled. She wanted the flash drive for herself. If she controlled the evidence, she could control everything. Now both of them were racing toward Elara. Inside the control room, the upload continued. 35%, 50%. Suddenly, the lights flickered. His computer screens glitched. Its floor beneath Elara vibrated. It felt like the mansion was trying to shut itself down. Its walls groaned loudly. Dust fell from the ceiling. Then the computer displayed another warning. "System under attack. Upload may fail." "No," Elara whispered. She hit the keyboard again and again, trying to keep the upload running. Outside, heavy footsteps grew louder. Suspense was getting closer. Sarafana wasn't far behind. Elara looked at the screen. 70%. She swallowed hard. She only needed a little more time, but she knew one terrifying truth. If either of them reached this room before the upload finished, everything the bride had sacrificed her life for was be lost forever. This upload kept moving. 80%, 85%. Elara refused to leave the computer. She knew that if the upload stopped now, all the evidence would disappear forever. Suddenly, bang, the control room door exploded open. Suspense Thana walked in. His face was filled with anger. He wasn't thinking anymore. He only wanted one thing: to destroy the evidence. He pointed his gun at Elara. "It's over," he said. "Step away from the computer." Elara stood her ground. "No." Suspense raised the gun just before he could pull the trigger. Another voice echoed through the room. "Don't do it." It was Sulla's. He stumbled inside, holding his wounded side. He was badly injured, but he still stood between Suspense and Elara. "Suspense, it's finished," Sulla said. "You can't hide the truth anymore." Suspense stared at him in disbelief. "You betrayed me." Sulla's lowered his head. "I should have done it years ago." Furious, Suspense pushed him aside and rushed toward the computer. At that same moment, Sarafana burst into the room from another entrance. Her eyes were locked on the flash drive. She didn't care about Suspense anymore. She wanted the evidence for herself. She lunged at Elara. The two women struggled as the room shook violently. Suddenly, the floor cracked beneath them. With a deafening crash, part of the control room collapsed. Everyone lost their balance. Sarafana screamed as the broken floor gave way beneath her. She reached out for help, but it was too late. She disappeared into the burning furnace below. Her scream echoed through the mansion. Then everything went silent. Elara grabbed a metal pipe and pulled herself back onto solid ground. Breathing heavily, she looked at the computer. The upload was almost complete. 99%. The entire mansion began shaking. Walls cracked, glass shattered. The lights flashed one last time, then, ding. Upload complete. Every file, every secret, every crime had been sent safely to the outside world. Suspense looked at the screen in horror. He had lost. The truth could no longer be erased, but before anyone could move, a loud warning echoed throughout the mansion. "Structural failure DTCTED. Evacuate immediately." The mansion was collapsing. Elara looked at the falling ceiling. She had exposed the truth. Now she had only one chance left: to escape with her life. This mansion was falling apart. Walls cracked open. Windows shattered. Smoke filled the hallways as the emergency alarms screamed without stopping. Elara ran toward the main entrance as pieces of the ceiling crashed behind her. She couldn't stop. She couldn't look back. She had to get out. The moment she reached the front doors, they burst open. Fresh air rushed in. Outside, dozens of police cars surrounded the estate. Their flashing lights turned the dark night into daylight. Armed officers rushed toward the mansion. Behind them came detectives, firefighters, and reporters. The evidence Elara had uploaded had reached the authorities. Everything was happening exactly as the bride had planned. At the same time, every television station in the country began showing the leaked files. News reporters exposed the Thorne family's secret crimes, hidden bank accounts, illegal business deals, photos of missing victims. Everything was now public. There was nowhere left for Cusbon to hide. A few seconds later, Cusbon stumbled out of the burning mansion. His expensive suit was covered in dust. His face showed fear for the first time in his life. He looked around for a way to escape. But every road was blocked. Police officers surrounded him from every direction. He slowly raised his hands. His empire was gone. His money could no longer save him. His power meant nothing. An officer stepped forward and placed handcuffs on his wrists. "You are under arrest." Cusbon didn't fight back. He simply lowered his head. The man who once controlled everyone had finally lost everything. Nearby, Elara stood quietly, holding the flash drive in her hand. No one had expected a simple maid to bring down one of the most powerful men in the country. The reporters turned their cameras toward her, but Elara said nothing. She wasn't looking for fame. She only wanted justice. As police officers searched the estate, they discovered the hidden rooms beneath the mansion. One by one, the terrible secrets were uncovered. The Thorne Estate was no longer a symbol of wealth. It had become one of the biggest crime scenes in the country's history. Elara watched silently as Cusbon was placed into a police vehicle. For the first time in many years, the truth had finally won. The sun slowly rose over the ruins of the Thorne Estate. Smoke still drifted through the air as police officers searched every corner of the property. Large machines began digging beneath the gardens. One by one, they uncovered the secrets that had been buried for years. The evidence matched everything on the flash drive. The truth could no longer be denied. Cusbon Thorne sat alone in a prison cell. His business empire was gone. His bank accounts had been frozen. His properties were seized by the government. The man who once ruled with fear had lost everything. But the biggest surprise was still to come. A black limousine stopped outside the police barricade. Everyone turned to look. The door slowly opened. The missing bride stepped out. She was alive. The reporters rushed toward her, shouting questions from every direction. She didn't stop. She walked calmly through the crowd until she reached Elara. For a few seconds, neither of them spoke. Then the bride smiled. "You finished what I started," she said softly. Elara smiled back. "I couldn't let your sacrifice be for nothing." The bride nodded. "Today, every victim finally gets justice." Together, they watched as police officers carried more evidence out of the mansion. Everything the Thorne family had tried to hide was finally exposed. The nightmare was over. Days later, the investigation officially came to an end. Cusbon was sentenced to spend the rest of his life behind bars. Many of his partners were arrested. Families who had spent years searching for answers finally learned the truth about their loved ones. As for Elara, she never returned to the Thorne estate. She left the mansion behind forever. She no longer lived in fear. She no longer hid in the shadows. For the first time in a long time, she was free. As she walked toward a new beginning, she looked back one last time. The once powerful Thorne estate was nothing more than an empty ruin. Its secrets were gone. Its power was broken, and its victims would finally be remembered. Sometimes the strongest hero isn't the richest person or the most powerful. Sometimes it's the person nobody notices until they change the world. The end.